Are we ready?
You know what? Shockingly, it went well.
Here we go. Good afternoon, or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Robert and Kristen, that's only two out there in the audience, and whoever else is with us online. So it's our second day of budget hearings for the Board of Commissioners, listening to our department heads and their anticipated needs. And so today we start out with Public Works. Mr. Robert, you're up.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. First of all, just again, I know I said this last year, but I can't say it enough. Thank you for the opportunity for us to come in front of you and present our budget. There's a lot of value in that, and I really appreciate that. And I do recognize that the tough decision's yours, so I respect that. I have a PowerPoint presentation I'm going to go through. I don't know if you have a copy or not. You might. So I'll go through that. Of course, I entertain questions, obviously, throughout. First slide I want to show you, though, is something I'm kind of proud of. We actually came up with a public works mission, and
Okay, I'm not seeing that.
and this is not a Robert Drury thing. This is a departmental. We did that community wide.
Hold on one second. Chris, is there a way to see it on ours?
No, I have to stop here.
Can't see you on the camera on mine. The only ones who can see you.
Y'all,
Exactly. I decided to share this screen. That's my
There we go.
trick. It's like, look at
Everybody got it? Yep. All right.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
Again, this is not Robert Drury's mission statement. This was we developed this as a group,
Oh, wait.
as a department.
Okay.
Driving toward a better community where service, trust, and teamwork matter, stretching your dollar one lane at a time. Thought that was pretty cool. And that also used our value statements, our values. We have 5 values. So the first slide I want to show you is basically a lineup of what I'm going to speak about this morning. There's several items. Obviously, I'm going to bring up the first item is going to be our staffing request. Then I'll go into some of the budget increases, a little bit more detail on some of the budget increases.
Does he have the clicker?
I am the clicker.
Okay.
Then I'll go into the capital improvement request. And you just roll through these if you want. SPLOST 7, there'll be equipment replacements, then roads, and then the LMIG 2026. We already know what the DOT is willing to participate. So I'll go through the list of those potential projects, and then the general fund capital improvements and the solid waste enterprise. So the first thing I want to talk about is staffing. And the first position I want to put on here is an assistant public works director, capital projects. This is a new position. We've come to a point where we are overwhelmed with capital projects, transportation, gymnasiums, parks and recs, trails, you just name it. They just keep rolling forward, which is a great thing. But truthfully, we really don't have anybody in the county-wide on staff or available to manage those projects from concept to completion. So this person would be identified as a capital projects for, again, transportation or any other capital projects we have. In most communities, this person is the county engineer, but I don't believe we need an engineer, certainly don't need a PE, and we don't need to pay the price of a PE, but that would be typical of a county engineer in most communities.
Robert, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, sir.
Just want to speak to this position as well. This is, Joey's pushing Robert to ask for this position. And also to expand a little bit, currently we're using consultants to be project managers on specific projects and also to be our program manager for T-Splots. We're still going to have a program manager for T-Splots, but we want to slowly wean off the consultants and be able to do this in-house. Robert talks about, and I talk about the machine. You know, we're so blessed to get T-Splots. We didn't have the machine in place to administer the volume of projects that we're going to be doing over the next 5 years, 6 years. And so, yeah, I think the timing is perfect. There is a plan with this position. It is a specialized skill. It's going to take a while to find somebody. Uh, It's also, we're trying to build some succession into the future for the county. We're a fairly small organization. Public Works is a fairly small organization, and we have to look to the future as we continue to grow. So I just wanted to add those 2 cents about, yes, this position is in Public Works, but it's going to touch a variety of departments throughout our organization. It's just not going to be in Public Works. I feel very confident in justifying this request. Sorry, Robert, I didn't mean to jump in.
Actually, I'm going to jump in too. Not that I disagree with the request, but can you just tell me, I understand that if we're not going to hire an actually county engineer, or that you're saying that that's not necessary right here, what's the difference between this position and what Chris Turner does?
Chris is just manages project by project. He's a project coordinator, and nor does he have the skill or background to do complex projects like T-Splost and right-of-way acquisition and DOT coordination. It's just involved. And he doesn't do any vertical projects either, vertical like gymnasiums, going vertical.
Okay.
This is a more skilled project, more skilled task than managing a paving project.
Okay.
Also on this request, I'm going to have to squeeze in some office space. So I intend on taking our little small conference room and converting it into an office as well. So you'll see a capital expense request come through that, and I'll touch on that in a minute. Next.
$50,000 for the office?
Yes, sir. The conference room was set up with a counter space all the way around, and it's got to be revamped for an office. And of course, I got to find a place to put some of that other stuff to relocate. So it's just a rough number.
Gold gilding, or are we using silver?
Platinum. Yeah. A hand crew is another one of my requests. It's a small hand crew of 3 people, a lead and 2 maintenance workers, specifically to do tasks like repairing and cleaning storm pipe, inlet tops, replacing inlet tops, some concrete experience, roadside maintenance, signs, tree pruning, tree removal, all that would be above that. Right now, if we need to do that, we have to actually probably pull the mowing crew down, let them shut down, go do the handwork, or possibly even a road crew. And this will specifically identify and dedicate this crew just for handwork on specifically mostly roadsides and stormwater. Go ahead. You go through. I got a few pictures just to show you kind of some examples. You see this. I just want to kind of identify what their role would be, is just doing some maintenance like this throughout our county that may get done eventually, but it just takes more of an effort to do that. And those inlet tops, I have to pay a firm to go out and replace those. I want to get to a position where we can do our own inlet tops. Thank you, Natalie.
Didn't we talk about contracting some of this out? That group that's
We attempted,
Gainesville.
we did have a contract. We attempted to work with a nonprofit that was, drug recovery type mission. And they backed out on us. We signed the contract, they committed to it, and then it got time to do it. They decided they couldn't do it. So we were really disappointed in that, but we didn't expend any money on it because we never got it off the ground. So plan B.
In this particular hand crew, one of the benefits, I guess you would say, to this crew is that CDLs are not going to be required. So it kind of gives us a different track for those employees that can't or won't get a CDL. Gives them a little bit more of an opportunity as well. The other project, the last project I want to talk about, is a construction monitor. This was in my budget request last year. Currently, it is a position in the position register, but it is a frozen, unfunded position, and similar to the assistant director position. We've got a lot of projects out there that are rolling pretty quick. We just can't keep up. Private development, county funded projects, and often overlooked is right-of-way encroachments. Utilities have to come to us to get permission to work in the right-of-ways. We get 20, 30 of those a year. We just don't, there's no oversight on those. And it's hard enough just keeping up. And as you probably well know, I've got somebody out on medical leave right now, and we're trying to fill gaps, and it's getting undone, quite honestly. And this person's role is only to monitor the construction projects, make sure the contractors, whether they're private contractors or our contractors, give us the best interest. Looking up for our interest in mind, follow the set of plans. And if we're not there, things just tend to happen. And sometimes we don't know those consequences until a couple years later. Go ahead. Specifically in the budget, the general fund budget, a couple of increases I want to note in the administration side of the public works budget. It was actually, for some reason, not funded last year. We had to skirt around and get some funds for our software, Intergov and Bluebeam. Those are tied with community development. Intergov is the permitting software, and then the Bluebeam is for plan reviews. I'd like to make sure that gets funded this year so that we can continue to do that. And on the road side, 2 new requests, pavement condition rating and planning, we refer to in our industry as PCIs, pavement condition indexes. That was done, I know Commissioner Bruce is going to know this, but it was done by hand probably 10 years ago. It's all manually done in 3-ring binders where every asphalt was rated as a condition. Of course, that's outdated, no longer valid. We need to do this. This is well, as you know, roads is probably one of the most important assets that I certainly have in my department, but I think countywide, and we know what kind of money we put into roads and road improvements. We just need to manage that. We're not doing a real good job, a thorough job of managing our pavements. We want to get conditions on these and take those conditions and actually do an asset management program that gets the best bang for your buck based on the condition of the asphalt. And it also helps us prioritize those projects as we go forward with T-SPLOST, SPLOST, LMIG, all the other fund requests.
I know that when we did that before, it was like, hey, it'll take a year to get all the roads completely evaluated and put into the program, et cetera. Do you know like what that would look like with this?
There's a couple of ways to do this.
Okay.
We can hire a consultant to come in and do it. They ride our roads and put the camera on top, ride our
Right.
roads, download it. It's all done now with AI, and it's a lot more thorough, a lot more reliable data than when you walk it and take pictures. So it's done through AI, and they're able to evaluate the condition of the roads. Another option would be is we actually use the camera and drive the roads ourselves and then download it to them. Both of those situations, I'm going to have to involve our GIS analyst to make sure that we do that correctly.
Right.
Because I'm not a GIS person. But there's a couple ways to do this.
Okay.
I'm not sure I know the best path. I'm kind of leaning toward putting the camera on our own vehicles.
I know like David and I did it ourselves and it was very time consuming.
It's very
So it was
time-consuming.
just us two driving every single road, getting out and evaluating every so many yards.
Mhm.
He would tell me, I would input, and I mean, it was time consuming. So that was without a camera. It was stepping out, eyes on the road.
Correct.
And it took us a solid year to evaluate every single road. But I'm assuming with like cameras, whether we do it or consultant, we could probably do it in less time.
A consultant can probably do it in a week.
Okay.
And then, of course, download the
Don't
data.
say that. That's so depressing.
I do want to also say this, and I recognize,
Lost a year of my life. It's fun.
I do want to recognize that 10 years ago, there was a need for it. We just haven't done it since then. And y'all took the time because it is a valuable resource for us to have, particularly we go through planning your dollars. So that's a position.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
So whichever process you use, you think that can be done with $50,000? You think a consultant would do it for $50,000?
I think we can get it done for $50,000 and have the PCI scores.
Let me tell you this, when we did it, just as and I don't fully remember the numbers, we obviously did it ourselves, but it came with a software that Georgia Tech was
Co-paces.
working on. Yep. And so we went down, it was me, David, and Jameson. We went down to Georgia Tech, spent an entire day learning the entire system, understanding what it could do for our county, et cetera. And then we used money we had in the budget that we already had. So we didn't come in front of the Board of Commissioners. We were one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Yep. So we used their software, although part of that and part of the cheapness of it was that we do it ourselves, which is what took so long. And it really didn't take off the way that they wanted it to, but we did utilize it because it was essentially free because we were but I think the whole program maybe cost us around $6,000. So, and that was in 2017, I think, because Jameson was here. Yeah, 2017. So, I mean, you're looking at 8 years ago. I would think, and again, I haven't been in it a long time, but I would think just in 8 years, 50,000 would be able to get the same type thing, even if, and maybe that's with you using a camera, but I think a consultant would probably could do it for 50 grand.
I agree with that. And potentially have some package that I can actually manage the asset.
Right.
Give me some projections.
Right. And that'll help with priority too, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we have a lot of dollars to repair some of these
Right.
roads, and we just want to make sure we get the best
Right.
for our dollar. Second item is street sweeping services. We have a lot of curb and gutter, particularly on 400 and around some of these medians, an area that just quite honestly are not being addressed. We have now an intergovernmental agreement with the DOT, so we can go in there and do this type of service. 400 is in desperate need. The curb, I don't need to tell you, I don't have any pictures, but street sweeping service is an outside vendor. They come in here and they can do this for $15,000. We can probably get two cycles a year. We just have to identify those locations, and map it for them so they can do this. We'll get as much as we can for $15,000. I think we can do quite a bit for $15,000 because they'll roll in and roll out pretty quick. And the final item is in the solid waste budget, which is an enterprise fund. Our used oil recycling container has gone bad on us. We had to remove it. It just was no longer. It leaked, but we cleaned it up. But it did leak, so we had to pull it.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I know all too well. I took my oil up there today.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we can't take your oil."
You broke it.
I
Ooh.
didn't get to put money in it. I had to take it home with me.
Yeah, the program is temporarily ceased. I do need to get a new container, so I have that item in the budget as well. Next.
Hey, before we move
Yes.
on, I'm sorry, I just have one more question. So I want to go back before we get too far gone on the Assistant Director Capital Projects position.
Yes.
So I was talking to a guy that does engineering. He's new for Forsyth County, and we were talking about essentially what he does. He doesn't do that. He is a PE, but he doesn't do the same as everyone else. He just came on, so he has a little bit different position, but he makes $100,000. So I guess my question is, if you're requesting 100,000 and that gets approved, is that something where it would, maybe you're saying we're not there yet, but is there a potential if we can get a PE hired for that? Would it not be beneficial for that same amount to have a PE on staff to be able to sign and stamp and whatever they do?
It's always nice to have a PE
Yeah.
to have on staff because they've gone through the qualifications and yes, I would love to have a PE on staff. I'm not sure we can afford one. You're right. If we can,
I mean, I'm
we'll-
just thinking if it's even like a newer PE,
yes.
that's coming on for the first time, and 100,000 is acceptable for the first year or two, and then we could look at that later in budget for. I don't know, and I don't know what our range is for a PE. I know we used to have one way back in the day, so I know we have a position salary range for it. I don't know what that is.
Mhm.
But I know the typical range for a government PE is between 70 and 150,000. So I feel like the 100,000 is in the median of that. So I just was thinking maybe should we shoot for the stars if we end up approving that just to see if we can get a PE on staff?
We could certainly put on the job announcement if it's funded, a PE desired or something,
Yeah.
and see what comes in. We
Okay.
very well may.
Okay.
We'll weigh that with, the other candidates who actually have more construction experience
Sure.
than a PE.
Natalie, will you just look up, not right, or I guess, is that a better question for HR? Yeah. Okay. I'll ask them.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. So on the SPLOST 7, my equipment replacements, this is a list of those for $450,000, which is what SPLOST is going to fund for 2026. Nothing magical about that. It's just items that are next in line. Next slide.
I mean,
Yes.
some of these positions you're asking for vehicles as well, so we won't have enough in Splash 7 to cover those probably.
Yeah, we'll have to look. That's correct. Thank you. So SPLOST 7 roads, list of the projected roads that we want to do for begin funding next year. Just a list of those. A Harris Sposeby Road, we're well aware of that one. It's very narrow and it is a connector road. We only have 30 foot of right of way. So that one's probably going to involve a little bit of acquisition just so we can get the drainage in there because there are some drainage issues on Harry Sosby Road. Afton Road is an FDR. Emma Terrace is an FDR. Dawson Forest Road is a mill and overlay from Lumpkin Campground Road to 400 through the marketplace area. I did identify the match for the LMIG 2026, the 30% match, and some road culvert improvements that we are actually got the engineering starting on some of those that I want to fund those as well. Next slide. LMIG tentative, and I say tentative because this could be a moving target for now, but those are the projects that we can identify possibly through LMIG, and it is some of these projects we're going to do in-house. We plan to do in-house. The paving, the gravel roads are in-house. We'll probably contract out the mill and overlay for the other two roads. But that's a list. That's, again, tentative, but I'm pretty comfortable that may go through. And the other one is general fund capital improvements. I've identified, as I mentioned, the office for the proposed assistant director position. The second item is new school flashing beacons for Kylo Church Road and Dawson Forest Road West. I am expanding that area. I've got an engineer working on getting DOT approved, state approval to expand that school zone to cover the elementary school. But I am proposing to put flashing beacons up. Now, I will tell you, flashing beacons are not shalls, they're may. So there's discretion whether or not we want them up. I just feel a lot more comfortable having flashing beacons. I sat at Kylo Elementary one morning and just one afternoon, and people are going through rather quickly. So flashing beacon will get
My
their
kid goes
attention.
there, and I really appreciate that. We've never done it before because it didn't meet the requirements. But I'm sure it does now. This was years ago, but I am here for it.
Thank you. There are no requirements for flashing beacons.
Oh, GDOT came out and did something. And well, are those not just the school limit signs that have the flashing things?
They are. We get
Okay.
the signs are up, but there's nothing
No
flashing to
flashing,
bring
yeah.
their attention to
Okay.
it. So all that does is bring the attention to the zone.
Okay, perfect.
And the third item, it was on last year's budget request for a new open outdoor storage for the equipment. Next slide. You've seen this before. I just feel like we need to have a little bit more coverage on our equipment that's exposed year round out on the yard. It's a rough estimate. I don't have quotes. I haven't talked to anybody about that. I do know that we'll have to get an engineer to design it and stamp it for the permit.
Double that.
And then the last slide is in solid waste budget. Again, an enterprise fund. The solid waste fund does not make a whole lot of money, but I have a whole lot of needs. So I just want to make sure that you hear me on that. We have some open top containers that either replace or new, and that is the top priority. I want to get, or we need a trash compactor in a container. I want to compact our cardboard. Right now it's loose, and we're having to haul at least 2 more times than we need to if we can compact it. And the relocation of the methane vent system, it was in my budget as well last year. It's a high ticket. It actually started before I got here. We have a consultant that's done the design work on it. We are getting some methane hits on some of our vents. We're going to a monthly monitoring just to make sure that it's stable. It could be a matter of time before the state comes back and says, no, you have to do it. So just a heads up on that. It's a big ticket. And that number I feel pretty good about because I came from the consultant.
What's our? We went through some ebb and flow in the revenue of the enterprise fund because we stopped accepting certain waste several years ago. Then I think we kind of pulled that back in line. So is that revenue? I mean, do we have a healthy balance in that enterprise fund?
There is a balance, but it's
Not much.
it couldn't pay for most of these things.
When you quit doing commercials, when you lost your money.
Yeah, I mean, it like dropped.
Yeah.
And Vicky told me
Put it
last
that
year,
Yeah.
I think we're in the black we made about $80,000 last year. I think it was in revenue from,
It used
From
to
the
be hundreds
expenses.
of thousands. Okay.
Robert, I know we're jumping around a little bit on
Yes,
your
sir.
trash
Well, we quit
compactor.
doing
That's
commercials before we
for
lost money.
cardboard for recycling, correct?
That is correct. That is for recycling.
And you do generate some funds on revenue from recycling. I mean, that trash compactor would your revenues from recycling could probably pay for itself in,
Thank you, sir. That is correct. Yes. We had $27,000 in recycling alone revenue last year.
Is there cash flow positive in that program?
It was 2024.
I'm not including what the expenses we paid for all stuff.
Well, yeah. No, it covered our budget last year. We did cover our expenses from 2024.
Has that been pretty well accepted, the recycling? Are the trends continuing to rise on the number of recycling?
It is. We've had over 6,000 visitors just so far this year at the recycling center alone. If I can get the cardboard in a compactor, that does free up a space for something else like glass or paper, something like that. So
And does that ultimately save trips? Because we're taking it to Pickens County still, correct?
taking our cardboard to Pickens.
So do you have any indication on how many trips that could potentially save?
It could cut them in half. Just cardboard alone. We still take some of the other items. And then the last item is, again, kind of a rehash of last year, is rehabbing the transfer station. I got a big hole in the side of it. We're still trying to get repaired. I'm having a hard time getting a vendor willing. We had a quote. Apparently the vendor can't do it 2 times now. So rehabbing the transfer station it needs to be looked at. We're possibly looking at SPLOST 8. I do have a consultant doing an assessment and kind of figuring out the most efficient way to do the transfer station and potentially recycling as well. And that will be ready here in maybe 30 days, that estimate. Any questions? Any other questions?
Questions for Robert? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, finance.
Want me to go up front?
Now you can do it from right there.
Camera getter.
Yeah, it'll get. Pull your microphone down though, so I can hear you.
Yes.
$6 million somewhere. There's 22,000 in that impact.
Okay, sorry about that. Good morning. Our only request for finance this year that's kind of out of the ordinary is we were looking at possibly upgrading our AP accountant or AP technician position. I included an org chart for us. We do have 4 full-time and 1 part-time accountant positions. And you'll notice the second one from the left on the bottom is graded an 11, while the others are all grade 16. My request is based on, we have the same minimum qualifications for all of the positions. It is much more than data entry, and we prefer a 4-year college degree in accounting field and then previous experience. So I put some more details in there if you want to ask any questions, but
So as we talk, all of those positions require a 4-year college degree.
Mhm.
And so that one's a grade 11, everyone else is 16, but that position has the exact same qualifications necessary as all the other positions.
that's correct.
Okay.
And in great news, we actually filled that position yesterday. She started. And within our current budget and what we're able to do, we were able to start her out at the minimum for a grade 16. So we do not need any additional funds. It would just be changing the grade.
Are you a CPA?
No.
Is anybody on staff have a CPA?
No.
Isn't there something like if you have a CPA, then you can get, you have to, what's the word, where you have to work underneath somebody for a certain period of time?
Yes, that's part of the requirements as well.
It seems like you can attract more people, I think, when you have a CPA.
Yeah, it is definitely a regret of mine that I didn't just go straight into it. So
It's a big
maybe
thing.
one day.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yep. So other than that, in our line item budget, we just asked for a little bit extra for 2 laptops. Mine is one of the oldest and it's dying. And then a couple extra printers. We have one that we realized we brought over when they built the courthouse. So it should be dying any day. So.
Any questions for Natalie? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Randy, you're up, bud. Facilities. I think he's
Thank you,
got
Chairman and members of the board, for allowing me to come to you today to present the facilities budget for the year of 2026. To start out with, I have a PPRR request. It's a reclassification request of a current position that the facilities has already. Probably about 4 years ago, the county was blessed to have a guy that retired from his own private heat and air conditioning business and decided he wanted to continue to work. So he moved to Georgia, happened to move to Dawson County, and he applied for a position in which Talbert hired him. And because of his skill sets, he brings a wealth of knowledge and basically what we used to have to subcontract out, we're doing it all in-house now for the most part and saving a ton of money, as well as Mr. Miller is providing for us the ability to train some of our current staff, who some of them actually have some heating and air experience themselves. However, they're not as advanced as he is. So he is an extremely good tool to have. So in order to continue with that line of thinking, what we would like to do is to change what is normally a grade 11 position to start, which only comes in at $17.99 an hour, to a grade 14, which would start at $20.82 an hour. Currently, there would be no additional funds necessary because Mr. Miller has been here long enough to be beyond that point already. But it would be for future hires should changes come about with the department later on. So it's basically just no money's needed, just a reclassification.
We like those kind of,
Yes, sir.
and we like that we have that skill set. That's great. All right, tell us a little bit about your budget.
Okay.
Sorry, really quick. Natalie, I'm missing page 1 of their budget. Do you have it just so I can look at it? Okay. Sorry, Randy.
Oh, you're good. Okay, going down the list as far as the changes, salaries and all of that would remain as is. A lot of these recommendations, especially being this is my first budget presentation, I leaned on the finance department heavily for some guidance in this matter. So the tech services exterminators that you see about midway down the page, we would like to increase that by $1,000 from $15,000 for 25 to $16,000 for 26. And that's basically to try to help cover the pest control of the new buildings that are going to be coming online, such as the EOC 911 building and the future health department and the treatment services. Continuing on, the item there that was in alarms, for 25, they had $1,220, and we reduced that down to $100 because don't know why exactly that number is $1,220. We just know that we're not spending that kind of money for alarm services, and a lot of the other budgets paying for their own alarm services anyway. So that got reduced significantly. The next item would be for tech services inspections, and that would be for 25. There was a $7,000 amount there, and Natalie had recommended that we raise that to equal what our current low bid price for doing these services is now, which is just almost $14,000. So that those additional monies used to come from the property repair and maintenance budget, and it took away $7,000 this year from that budget just to cover the inspections processes. So what we'd like to do is continue leaving that line item with the correct amount of monies there so that the inspections can be paid for from that line.
Quick question on that. So I see where it looks like it's been 14,000 a year for the past couple of years, but I also see that we're going to be adding the E911 building and the new health department in 2026. Would it not increase from 14,000?
It will increase some, not knowing
What it is.
what a future company may charge for those couple of buildings, as far as those inspections, because the 911 building has a pretty complex hood system that has to be inspected, such as like the jail does and like some of the other facilities that do cooking. So inspections are going to require some monies. However, we've padded a little bit in the property repair and maintenance so that
To cover those?
if we
Okay.
have a shortfall, we have less of a shortfall.
And then next year you'll know more about what it's going to cost. Okay.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that. And we say that it's been 14,000 for the last few years. I'm looking at the actuals for 24 and it was 2,100. 23 was 5,900. There was obviously, if you go to 1,400 potentially this year, I mean, that's a big jump from 2,100. I mean, 14,000.
Yeah, that Commissioner, I cannot explain why in 24. Of course, I wasn't part of the process
Yeah.
at that particular time, and it may have been that Mr. Talbot may have been choosing to just pay for that out of property repair
Okay.
and maintenance,
Yeah, they're already
and that's
at
just a speculation.
almost 8,000 for this year. They're almost at 8,000 already this year.
No,
Yeah.
that's what they had, but he's saying that it was still 14,000. They were pulling from somewhere else to make up the difference.
Yeah, I will look in that just to verify, but we did look at it when we discussed it earlier.
Okay. And moving on down to property repair and maintenance. Those numbers, of course, have gone up, as well as a lot of costs to do business out in the world today, as with any business, as those risen costs. But for 25, we had about 200,850 on that line, and then we were actually recommended by the finance department to go with 215,000. And the reasons for this is that I got some prices to have the secured parking lot resealed. We're starting to see those visible cracks where water can get underneath the asphalt. And if you get cold weather and you start cracking up your asphalt, then all of a sudden you're having to get equipment in there to redo the entire project, which, as we know, with the cost of what it took money-wise to get Rock Creek Sports Complex down there repaved, it's a tremendous amount of money. Even though that's a small parking lot, it would be 10 times what it would cost to just reseal it and restripe it. So with that being said, there's a couple of buildings here that I've listed: the Government Center secured parking lot, the Chestatee Regional Library. The reason that one is on my particular budget presentation is because the facilities has historically taken care of certain aspects of the maintenance for that building, even financially. They have an interior maintenance personnel. He handles the day-to-day operation, and we handle the bigger items such as HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and anything outside. So with that being said, that bump in that budget line right there would reflect about $16,000 to basically get those projects, which would be the secured parking lot, the Chestatee Regional Library parking lot, as well as voter registration. And I've had a conversation with Miss Glenda with the voter registration, and one of her challenges is parking. And one of the things about that is that we're just right across the street at the facilities office. So if we have an event until the time comes in the county's life that it wants to make a change in that scope over there, we can provide extra parking for their people who are volunteering, and they can leave more spaces in their current parking lot for the people who are voting. So with that being said, we've got somewhat of a solution for that. It may be that if we seal and restripe the parking lot, that someone could actually gain a few more parking spaces in a redesign of the existing lot. So that's where that additional monies would provide for us. currently in the facilities budget, we take care of a lot of responsibilities such as the chapel building, which is voter registration. They don't have a budget for things that's just day to day. Just take sanitary items, for instance. The facilities budget takes care of several properties within the county, such as the ag center, the voter registration, the historic courthouse and historic jail. I could go on. There's just the facilities budget is impacted, and a lot of these items would be coming from that. So as we continue to move on down the list, communications down there would be raised just slightly by $100. Telephones, we see that we can reduce that down by about $1,180 from $9,180 to $8,000. So then on the second page, continuing on down, about midways down the page, you come to general supplies. So general supplies is, of course, the facilities budget, like I mentioned, provides day-to-day products for some of these offices to run. And we're looking to increase that budget. And especially since COVID, the courthouse has actually seen more court-related events, which has caused more people to be in the building, which causes you to use up more products. So we'd like to see that line item go from 24,000 to 28,000.
And didn't you mention, like, I know, like, when I was shadowing y'all, you had said that it was kind of odd, but certain departments outside the courthouse, y'all provide toilet paper for, soap,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Same way with it's the voter registration, the historic courthouse, historic jail, the ag center, and the entire KH Long building.
You
So
provide
treatment
all of that
service-
stuff for those buildings.
Well, we don't provide the toiletry items for the treatment services, but we do provide it for all those
All the
others
other-
that I
okay.
mentioned, yes. And then, of course, continuing on down the energy for water and sewer, we've had increases in that. And in 2025, we had a $16,000 line for that, and we would like to see that raise up to 18.5. So that would be a $2,500 increase. The natural gas, we see an opportunity there to reduce that number by 3,000. So that's pretty significant. And then as far as electricity goes, we had a $260,000. Prior to this year, Talbert had raised it from 240 to 260 to try to handle some of the Georgia Power increases that we were getting. And we see that same need again as well. And part of this is not knowing exactly until recently. I learned just very recently that while the facility is being renovated, which is going to be the future health department building, the company that's going to be under contract to do that renovation has to provide the utilities. So at first, we thought we were going to be having to provide those utilities the same as we are today, but it may not be the case. So some of these monies may not have to be spent, but we just want to be prepared going forward. So we'd like to see that line item be raised to an even 300,000, which would increase it by 40,000. And then going on down, gasoline, diesel, and oil. We had a $9,000 budget for that. We have a $10,500 number there for 26, but it was recommended that we raise that to 12,000 even, which would be a $3,000 increase. And then small equipment is just a small amount from 5817 to 6,000, which would be $183 of an increase. So all total, the change from 25 to 26 reflects a 9.5% increase.
Questions for Randy? Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you. We'll take a minute break. Let's take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll be up to the sheriff after this. All right, so we'll get back started. And so now we'll move on to the Sheriff's Office budget and requests. Sheriff Johnson.
Appreciate your time this morning, and appreciate Ms. Natalie and Ms. Tiffany for your help. And Sandra's on vacation, pre-approved, so she's not here. So I hope I can answer all your questions for you. But
Did she plan that?
well, yeah, long ago. I think long before.
Here you go, Sheriff. Here's the papers. I'll see you.
So just kind of give you a little quick snapshot of what I hope to present to you today is this for pay. Basically, I've looked over our line items. Our line items, we believe that we can operate within what's been recommended. I'm obviously open to any questions that you may have regarding the line items. But what my big ask for you today is, and I know we're having trouble still trying to staff. I appreciate those members that's been able to meet with us so far. Is just to disregard the staffing request that we put in for, and let's fix the pay thing first, where we can get them in the door and keep them. So with that being said, I just turn it over to you, whatever questions you may have.
I know when you and I met, one of the challenges that you said is when we look at the vacancies, it looks like we're okay, but it's just, we're looking to get a better pool of applicants potentially. A better pool of applicants as well as just a retention.
That's correct, right.
And then what we've done in the past with the performance merit increases and longevity, has that helped with the retention?
I believe it has. And again, just to echo, I believe that keeps our folks, for the most part, keeps our folks here, especially the ones that's got a few years under their belt. That helps them. I think our biggest challenge continues to be just basically recruiting. And obviously we are having some retention issues. We've lost some very well experienced people here this past year, and primarily overpaying benefits.
Got anything else?
And we met and discussed.
Yeah, and we've talked some, and we'll talk some more. Obviously, as we move forward into this process, we got a few months to go to get to the final. Tell us a little bit about your capital requests.
Okay. If you look at number one should be the continuation of the existing TASER program. It's an expensive computer and plastic. But they're like everything else. They expire. They longer support them. They don't update them. When they break, they go out of warranty. They will not repair them. And basically, this is just a continuation of that program where we basically get the tasers we need. We get the batteries. We get the cartridges. We get.
So
the
in reference to
support.
this, we already are funding some of this already.
That's correct.
Annually. So this is just a continuation with maybe some difference. So can you provide us what that difference would be, if there is any difference from year to year?
I can get that together for you.
Yeah, you don't have to do it today. I'm just saying at some point.
But yes.
But it is a continuation. That's kind of what I thought reading it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
The second capital request form is a continuation of the body camera contract.
Okay.
And again, this is just another continuation. And this will put us out over the other three. Well, it's divided up over 3 years for total.
Same
cost
thing
of
on that,
6,
Natalie, as
right.
well. Okay.
The third capital request, I believe you have listed as the MDT, the laptops and patrol cars. Currently, we are already experiencing failures with some. Most are at least 3 years old. Conversing with Captain Holtzclaw, IT has told him that these are 3 to 5 year pieces of equipment. So what we're looking to do is implement beginning next year is getting these things replaced. We're also running into an issue too, where apparently Windows 12 is coming out. These computers that we currently have will not work with that. So that's that in a nutshell. If you have any questions on that.
I know you're talking about the older ones, but when you get a new car, you get a new computer, right? In that car?
Typically, yes. Sir.
Okay.
And that's what we hope to do, continue with our the next splost is the total.
But you're talking about the older ones here
Correct.
as
yes,
well.
sir.
Okay.
I'm not sure. What do you have for number 4?
Speed trailer.
No, that's
I don't have a 4.
Yeah, I think 4 was omitted.
Okay. Speed trailer's next.
No, sir. Boiler replacement in the jail. Let's move that
Oh.
one up to number 4, if you will, please.
And we got a boiler replacement number 6.
Yeah, please make that number 4 on priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4.
These things originally had a 15-year warranty,
Mhm.
which had expired in 2022. They've exceeded their end of life. We've had people come out and look at them. They are,
You have 2 of those?
no, sir,
2 that you're asking to be replaced?
3, and then
Three?
we've already replaced 1. Now, these old ones,
No, I have that page twice then.
Captain Davis has done a good job with working with the
Okay.
service providers. The original ones, we were looking at a replacement cost of over 300,000.
Uh-huh.
But he's gotten that down to roughly around $40,000 a piece. It's a different boiler, obviously different technology and different way of that they're placing them into the jail now. So
Have they failed, or we're just anticipating them to fail at any time?
we've had one failure. One has,
that
and then
the
we've
one
got
where-
the 3 they're telling us that need to be replaced.
So the one that failed is the one we replaced
Correct.
already?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Can I just clarify real quick too? Tiffany may know more than me, but I believe there's 2 separate boiler requests.
3 total on that
Okay.
page. Says 3 additional aging units throughout the facility may fail soon.
Okay,
I think what happened is we just wound up with 2 pages that look identical.
yes, okay. I
Okay.
just want to clarify.
The 120,000 is for all 3.
That's
Just for all
correct.
3.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then number 4 was a dishwasher. They had a capital request for a dishwasher. But since they did that, they actually had to cover that within this year's budget. So
So that's why it was omitted.
correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And so speed trailer would be number 5. And the speed trailer, basically, our old one has broken. We were hoping already to replace it at this point. I couldn't even give you an age on it. It's been here longer than I have, I think. Long story short, these do help us. Not only do they splash up a speed limit sign, but they also collect a lot of valuable data for us, such as times, speeds. Obviously doesn't capture any personal information on it. It's just data that we can use to help pinpoint when we need to go somewhere, when we need to focus on some areas, things of that nature. So
So we don't have one at all right now.
no,
Okay.
not currently operating.
Not that works.
Right.
And that board, you may have something else, but those were the only capital requests that we're submitting this year.
Okay. Just for clarification for the rest of the board, because looking at it, and then I've talked to Natalie about it. So it doesn't affect the dollar amount, but you've kind of subdivided out your people into different units and stuff, like crime prevention unit that used to all be sucked into patrol and things like that. So
Right, yes.
just so the board, when they start seeing that and you look at it, you see that there's no history, but there's a line item for that. It's just been divided out into more in line with what that they actually do.
I do have a point of clarification. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Chairman, you're right. It's, I think it makes it a little bit more cleaner, help us easier to track. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On you're requesting $4 be added to the salary of not just deputies, anyone that's post-certified, or just, I'm a little confused on like who all you're requesting it for.
Yeah, this would be for jail and deputies and jail officers.
Okay.
Some people refer to them as deputy 1s, deputy 2, things of that nature. But
Okay.
because right now our jail is starting out at 2068. Our patrol is a little higher. We did make some changes
Patrol,
in
yeah.
years past. to try to-
2296 on a patrol officer, a deputy.
Yes, right. So that's where we're at with that, but to cover those positions right
Okay.
now.
Because I'm ignorant on how they're all classified,
Right.
like your people on SWAT, does that include them?
Oh, yes, the deputies.
Oh,
Right.
those are considered deputies. Okay. And then what about like admin as far as you, Greg Rowan, the people that aren't technically on the road but are in like the jail, are those included?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh,
So who's not included?
The only thing that we don't have right now is administrative personnel.
Okay.
And I would like to have some more deeper conversation with 911. Or 911's actually, we filled it up this week. We did have an applicant come in. But we're not that far off with our 911, but I would like to go dive a little deeper into that too, if the board would be agreeable.
Okay. So it's essentially for everyone except for like
Human resources.
human resources, clerical.
Right,
Thank you. I couldn't think of the
right.
word.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
perfect. Thank you.
Other questions for the sheriff? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So we have public defender left. Okay. What time is it now? 10 o'clock?
Okay, I have
Who's coming for them?
I believe it's I think for you, you're not presenting at all. I saw that.
I thought he already did. So they named somebody else.
My entire department of me.
Can we call them and see if they can come a little earlier, maybe 10:30? And with that, we'll take another break. Office. Brad, if you don't care, start out with your personnel request.
Bad shortage of lawyers. We're really down 9. We have 2 new ones that are taking the bar this summer, so we're counting them. So they can't practice law until November. It's been a really difficult time, not only for our office, but all offices. Lawyers' offices are paying they're paying 100,000 something to start off in Atlanta. We're paying about 72 or something like that. And people claim it costs about as much to live here as there. I don't know whether it is or not, but in any event, we're down a lot. We also, we try cases against the district attorney's office, and we have to do investigating. District attorney's office has a sheriff's office, things like that. And they've got like 15 people, and we've got like 6 or something like that. And so there's a real imbalance. And particularly now that we're so short of lawyers as well, our investigator type assistants do more than they do before. We can hire those kind of people, and they do a lot as far as helping the courts and helping us prepare our cases and looking at files and all those kind of things. So it's, we didn't ask for another lawyer because we have empty lawyer positions we can't fill right now. But I'm asking for another administrative assistant so that we can help prepare those cases. There's a lot of things they do. They investigate things, they read over the files, they go to the jail, they hunt witnesses, and all those sort of things. And court's going on all the time, and always you have to have 1 or 2 in court when that's going on to facilitate matters in the court. So that's what we're asking for this time. We're not asking for a lawyer, but we are asking for administrative assistant to help us with these backlogs that we keep getting. And it's just an imbalance because if you had a football team with half the number on one side and the other, you can't really respond very well. And so that's what I'm asking for right now. So do y'all have any questions?
Questions for Brad in reference to that? It looks like your general budget is pretty close to not many changes in it.
No, there's not many changes. We have 3. You have a contract with Hall County for half and half position. They're a Hall County employee, and you'll pay half their salaries. And then we have that's one thing that's kind of peculiar about our office. We have 4 types of employment, and they're all just a little different. Initially when the state system started, most all the counties opted in if you paid a certain percent more. It started out being 10%. Now it's down to 2 or 3%. Then they would be state employees. Let's say the person cost $100,000, you paid the state $110,000, and they became state employees. They got computers and training and various things like that. That came down some after a while. Hall County didn't want to do it because they felt like their HR department was as good as the state, so they didn't enter in. So we have Hall County employees. Initially, Dawson County decided to do that, to be Hall County. They call spacers, which is the state employee but county funded positions. So we had a couple of those positions, and of course then you get state insurance and various things that go with it. And then we have just state employees, the ones that actually come with our office that the state pays for, is about 9 or 10 people, I guess. And then Dawson County decided that they wanted to, which was a good idea, to make a Dawson County employees, a new ones. And so we have Dawson County employees too. So they're all a little different as far as their insurance goes, as far as all the different various things go. They're just different little twerps. And then the problem with that is that in order to grow, you have to move from one position to another. And there was a problem because we have somebody who's a Dawson County person, but we had better funding for a Hall County position. Maybe you move them over, then you have the retirement problem because you end up losing whatever you built up as far as that goes. Because we're a circuit. As far as I'm concerned, our office is our office, and we bring Hall County people over here all the time. We only got 3 lawyers over here, but when we need it, we bring Hall County people over here to try cases. Our chief assistants come over here and all that kind of stuff like that to be able to bring in extra personnel when it becomes really necessary. But, administratively, it's like independent employments, even though we're one office. And sometimes we have to move people from maybe a Hogg to a Dawson position or Dawson to a state position and that sort of thing, because that's where a position might be better funded to give somebody a raise. So anyhow, any questions y'all might have?
Questions from,
You were retiring.
I think I'm going to be in November.
this, Mr. Morris?
Excuse me?
How long have you done this?
I've been a lawyer about 50 years, but I've been doing this since it started in '04.
04.
Yeah, so when our public defender system started.
21 years.
Yeah, so.
You've seen a few cases then.
Yeah, you see, things changed over here a whole lot.
Changed everywhere a whole lot.
Yeah, they have changed everywhere. But, y'all are evolving well with that. So dealing with your new challenges all the time. Nature is always a tug.
All right.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And if you do retire, congratulations.
Well, thanks. I never have done that before, so it's not something I really know how to do. So.
I heard you figure it out pretty easily.
Maybe so.
You usually find out you got more to do at home than you thought.
Oh, I know.
I can tell you.
Problem with my wife, it's just the worst day is when she doesn't have anything to do.
Hey, watch out, we're streaming this live. She might hear-
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Do you know Mark Alexander? By any chance? He's going to be the guy taking my place.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was at 88.